I am the holder in due course. I am here as a third-party intervener making a special appearance as an authorized representative for the defendant. I accept for value and return for value all the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption as principal available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts contained in the charging instruments. Please use my exemption for offset and adjustment of the public charges against the defendant and release the order of the court to me immediately. Hi people, it's Doug from Salt Lake. So let's talk about the courts. The judiciary comprises two types of court venues: a corporate administrative court and a common law court of record. A judge in an administrative court does not act judicially, but as an administrator to settle contractual disputes. Okay? It's all about the contract. We've said that many, many times. Okay? A judge in a court of record sits judicially with a jury of the people to remedy harm to other living people. The courts are attended by commercial list judges, some of whom are designated as jury judges, able to sit in a common law court of record. Okay? Common law acknowledges the lawful rights possessed by living men and women. Statutes prescribe legislation to administer artificial legal persons. And what would that be? That would be your all-cap straw man. A statutory administrative court is for commerce, de facto, in practice. It is a place of corporate banking offering a dispute resolution service for consenting parties, where living men and women unwittingly consent to being joined to, or a joinder, to an artificial legal person. Remember, we looked up person. What's a person? That's a corporation. Obligated to settle the accounts of commercial adhesion contracts. Okay? Birth certificate, driver's license, social security number, all that. The judge does not sit judicially, but acts as a corporate administrative officer. Administrative courts are not sanctioned by Parliament and are not part of a de jure laws and uses of the realm. All administrative courts are unlawful because they do not have a jury present. You ever seen a jury in a family law? Kangaroo court? No. Any court without a jury present is an administrative court. The law is absolutely clear on the subject. There is no authority for administrative courts in this country, and no act can be passed to legitimize them. So here's a friendly little photo. This is an administrative court at Dry Dock. Okay, this is the U.S. District Courthouse in Florida, and that is an overhead picture by Google. And man, what does that look like? Every court without a jury in an administrative court for legal fiction commerce offering a dispute resolution service for consenting parties. It conducts commerce in the International Admiralty maritime jurisdiction, which is the law of the sea, and it is a vessel in dry dock. The Admiralty maritime sea jurisdiction, law of the sea, has invaded the common law land jurisdiction, law of the land, entering at ports and extending via inland via rivers and lakes. Therefore, freight carried by land, water, or air is shipped. It is transported through loading docks, seaports, airports, navigating shipping lanes, and traffic islands. Administrative courts reflect their maritime roots in their layouts and fittings. The courtroom is divided into two parts by a barrier known as the bar, resembling a ship's outer railing. When someone crosses the bar, they enter into Admiralty maritime jurisdiction of the court, becoming surety for a vessel subject to commercial levies and duties, which is your straw man. Okay? taxes, fees, fines, all that. The judge does not sit judicially, but acts as a corporate administrative officer. The accused vessel is placed in a dock. Administrative courts are for vessels in commerce, not for living men and women, unless you consent to act as the master of a registered vessel in commerce, such as John Henry Doe, or, once again, your all capitalized name. One of my subscribers, Robert, sent this to me, and I was looking over this again this weekend, and I thought I would share a little bit of this with you. He's fighting the good fight. So this says, family court is the greatest fraud ever perpetrated on the American public. Family court, family law is a made-up business of consumer fraud, racketeering, and collusion, invented, marketed, and protected by the monopolistic American Bar Association, ABA member, predatory lawyers, and supportive and collusive ABA member judges and their friends, the experts. Family law is a brilliant racket created to extort your family's life savings through unending litigation, prolonged deliberately by lawyer-instigated conflict, ambiguous laws, and absurdly inefficient procedures at a time when you are most vulnerable and in need of help. The system has no interest in actually divorcing you until you are picked clean of your life savings. Now let's stop here just for a second. I have been told over and over that conditional acceptance, okay, making sure that you're not the defendant, arguments, okay, this is what attorneys are for. They're for arguing, okay, this is their baseball field, okay, this is their home turf, okay. You don't want to argue with these people, okay? You don't want to go in there and dispute any of the facts, because as soon as you go in there and you know, they ask you, are you the defendant? And you say yes, then they got you, okay? So if you go in there and you say, I'm the holder in due course, I'm here as a third-party intervener making a special appearance as an authorized representative for the defendant, they're all their jaws are going to drop, okay? If you go in there with a promissory note because there is no money, and you tell them, give me the 30-day payoff and I'll settle this account right now, okay? It's all commerce, okay? It's all commerce. This is my opinion. And I probably have to say that this isn't a law firm, all that other stupid shit. You guys have heard me say it 100 times. This is all my opinion. This is what I've read and what I see. Okay? Conditional acceptance is the key to ending any legal disputes. Okay? If you go in there and you start arguing, then you're done. Okay? You're in there. If you know it's maritime, then you got to ask for the contract. You got to say, you know what? I accept for value all the charging instruments in this matter, all the obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts, and I just want to see the contract. That's all I'm here for. I just want to see a contract with my signature on it. And is that going to work? I don't know. But let's keep reading here. The system has no interest in actually divorcing you until you're picked clean of your life savings. Once picked clean, the system drops you for the next victim. There are no gender biases in family court. Those who suggest it are perpetrating the fraud, since family court has been transformed into one massive fraudulent scheme. Judges punish both sides equally. Mother, father, man, or woman, makes no difference. These people will collectively take every last dime you have or will ever have. Buyer beware. And one of the reasons that I'm bringing up child support again is because we know it's a racket. Okay, if you're informed enough and you're still watching these videos, you know for sure that it's about the federal funding. It's about Health and Human Services getting money for welfare and offsetting their expenditures, and I mean, we got that, right? But how do you fight these people? How do you say no? right? I mean, there's people out there that got $900, paperwork, and they talk about constitutional rights and this and that and the other. Well, I hate to say it, man, but you don't have any rights, okay? Because you go in there and you tell them you're the defendant, okay? And I just read to you by joinder, you are now the surety for that all cap name. You are liable for that corporation, okay? And they got you. And they get you through adhesion contracts. And, 10 years ago, you gave the bank, your social security number, or, you went to the medical, university of whatever, and you gave them all your finances, and, they got you, man. I mean, they're watching everything you guys do. They got so many databases with all your information, and all they got to do, here's the other thing. If you're using Federal Reserve notes, okay, you're in the system, okay? All your jobs, they want your name, your address, your social, okay? You filled out, tax paperwork. So you're in the system, and they have authority to attack those customers of theirs and do whatever they want with them. Because you're not under the Constitution under Article 3, okay? You're under the Constitution, but you're in Article 1, okay? You're in an Article 1 court. You're in commerce. That's how they've legislated away all of your rights, okay? And one of the reasons I'm reading all this stuff to you is it's not really fraud, okay? It's not really deception, okay? It's all in their codes and statutes, and they're allowed to do it, okay? A lot of people are pushing back, but they don't realize that this is a bankrupt corporation that's part of the United States, okay? 28 U.S.C. 3002 15A, okay? They're an agency of the United States, which is a federal corporation, and they're bankrupt and they need customers, okay? And they're going to use all of their databases and all of their lawyers and cut them a fee for getting out there and getting them customers. Here's another little juicy. Arguments to make in court. Number one, you're arguing. You're already done. You are willing parent and no criminal neglect or abuse has been found against you. They don't care. They're after your trust, okay? They're trying to make you a customer. The fact that you want to be a parent is unacceptable to the state and the mom because in order to profit from your child, they have to say you are not around or abandoned the children. Okay, well, that's debatable. They're actually after your social security number. That's what they want. They want that child in their custody so that they can get federal funding, okay? They want mom's name. They want her social. They want her to sign those documents that she doesn't read. And they want everybody to go to court and say they're the defendant. And as soon as you go in there, they got you. So the state is engaged in limiting your involvement by order. Actually, they can do that. The mom is engaged in limiting your involvement by denying you more time. Well, that's between you and her. The state and mom are now working together to make the argument, there's that word again, argument, that you have abandoned the family because you are not present, which we all know that's not true. It's because you can't stand her, and just the look of her makes you sick to your stomach, so you stay away. And then, of course, like my situation, it was you go over there and they're not around, or he's sick, or this, and then the next thing you know, you're 6 weeks, you haven't seen the kids, and then you spend a couple hours and she's got stuff planned, and then her boyfriend's coming over, and so we all know what really happens, okay? The state and the mom are forcing you to have to turn over your finances. Well, you're not forced to. They ask you for them, but you don't have to give them anything, but you do because they, have those official looking documents in your face. So the state and mom are both welfare recipients, state from the Fed, mom from the state and you. That's a fact, because she cannot maintain her own home without your resources. The state cannot fit you into Title IV fee welfare model unless you have limited involvement with your child. And that is true, okay? And that is all done by fraud and deception. However, the problem is you are joined with that all cap name. and you can't figure out why you can't get away from these people. So, federal law, Article 1, Section 10, is clear in stating that the petitioner has the right to contract, which includes the right to not contract. Here, the state seems to claim that it can both create a contract and also bind the petitioner to it without the permission or agreement of the petitioner. The state openly impairs the petitioner's right to contract. Now that is the key right there. It's all about the contract. Okay? The state is mandating multiple contracts and violates multiple contractual obligations secured under obligations of contracts, Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution. For example, the right of a fit parent to contract with and for his child support, a consent foreign to the common law, is a special obligation that is void of any quid pro quo or reciprocal arrangement. The state's agenda now provides incentives to women to unilaterally receive tax-free income in excess of the amounts needed for the support of the necessities of the child. Now, that's said a lot, but basically what that means is you come in, you get a marriage license, you come in, you get those birth certificates, and you sign these documents, and we'll take care of you, sweetie. So we're going to move on to some other stuff in the next video.